if you've kept up with this channel, you know that I just got my hands on a good amount of diamonds. And you know how much I love my experiments, so I decided what better to do with them than to try to tumble them. I wanted to do this because I don't think I've seen anybody ever try to tumble a diamond before, and I just think it would be really interesting because diamonds are the hardest mineral and they shouldn't be able to be ground down or worn down at all. But I'm really curious to see if anything will happen to these diamonds in the tumbler. Now these diamonds are supposedly real lab-grown diamonds, some moisanites here, a glass diamond, and a hemiker diamond. Now this guy here is a big glass diamond, so it is not a real diamond. I actually used it as a scratch test for some of these other diamonds and moisanites. So I feel like I'm gonna see the most change with this guy because, like I said, it is glass. This is a Herkimer diamond, I hope I'm saying that right. And technically this is just a type of quartz, but it is a hard and supposedly super clear quartz. This one is not a very high quality, as you can tell, but this ranks about a 7 on the Mohs hardness scale. Glass ranks about a 5 or a 6. Then we have these moisanites here. This is a 10 karat moisanite, and moisanite ranks at a 9.5 on the hardness scale. And then this is a little marquise cut and a cushion cut moisanite. Then down here we have the lab-grown diamonds. This is a 1/2 carat lab-grown diamond. And then I have 5.05 carat diamond, which are super tiny, and I'm so scared to lose them because they're itty bitty. And as you know, diamonds are the hardest mineral, ranking a 10 out of 10 on the Mohs hardness scale. So I feel like I'm definitely gonna see a lot of change in the glass and the Herkimer diamond, but I don't know what to expect for the moissanite and the lab-grown diamonds. So without further ado, let's get them in a tumbler and get them tumbling for about a week in step 1. Now I am going to be using my smallest tumbler barrel, which is a 1-pound tumbler. However, these diamonds are tiny and they will definitely not fill up the requirement of 2/3 to 3/4 full to put them on the tumbler. And again, the reason you want that is so that you have enough media and rocks and things in there to kind of grind away at each other. So I've decided that I think I'm gonna add some regular rocks along with the diamonds just to kind of help them out, to balance it out a little bit as well. So let's get that filled up. Okay, let's do some of these rocks. Here is our grit that we're gonna use. It is polyplastic step 1 6090 silicone carbide. And we're just gonna use these rocks because these are the ones that I have. These are kind of just a mix of rocks that I have been putting off tumbling. So we're gonna add these in as well as our diamonds. In goes the big guy. Oh my gosh. Okay, and this one, am I really doing this? I'm really doing this. Here it goes. That's so crazy. Okay, so that, remember, is the moissanite. These are moisanites. So wild. And then this is a real, apparently, a real lab-grown diamond. And then my teeny tiny little guys. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen a tumbler barrel look like this before? I have not. And in goes, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. 1 scoop of grit. All right, we've got our diamonds ready to go on the tumbler for a week. Let's put it on there and we'll see what happens in 1 week. All right, well, it's been 1 week and it's time to check on our diamonds. I cannot wait to see what is inside here. One thing I noticed is just barely, super slightly, the bottom is bulged. Now, sometimes when you tumble glass, this will happen because there's little tiny air bubbles in glass that release while they're being tumbled. So I don't know, we'll see what's inside. So as you can see, it's just a little bit wiggly. So there's just a tiny little bulge at the bottom. But let's get this opened up and see how our diamonds are looking. Oh boy, here we go. Oh gosh, it's on here so tight. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is probably the most worn down I have seen my tumbler barrel. All of that black stuff is the rubber that's along the inside of the barrel. That is crazy. So that definitely tells us something hard has been tumbling around in here. So I rinsed off the lid and there's already so much debris in there. That is crazy. Also, we are using this mesh strainer because the diamonds are super tiny. So I do not want them to fall down the drain. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Okay, let's see. Ugh, there's still some stuck in there. We'll rinse out the bottom really well. Oh. Okay, there is just so much barrel debris that I cannot properly rinse these off. I think I'm gonna have to rinse them off individually. I haven't seen any of the diamonds yet. I'm so nervous. Where are they? I think they're down here. Okay, let me rinse them off. We'll find them, hopefully, and I'll show you what they look like. There's one stuck right there at the bottom. Oh my gosh, is it like embedded? Oh, I thought it was embedded in the barrel. Okay, it just stuck to my finger. Oh. They're so tiny. Okay, let's rinse these off. Okay, that took a ridiculous amount of time to get all of them, but I do have them all here. So let's take a look at them. I don't know, I'm a little surprised. Okay, so first, just an eyeball test. So you can see all kinds of pitting in here that definitely tells us that this is glass. However, we knew that already, so it's not like I'm super surprised, but this is how our glass diamond is looking. I think it's super interesting that all of the faceting is completely gone. Other than the overall shape, it honestly doesn't look like a diamond at all anymore. Next up are our moissanite. These are looking rough. Okay, trying to keep very still. But here is how we're looking on this one. You can see it almost is like, looks like there was a coating on this, doesn't it? It is actually insane how cloudy these things are. I'm gonna show you a really close up under my microscope because I don't know how to feel about this. Okay, so here is how we are looking. This is crazy. Here is an ultra close-up of our Marquise diamond, and it is looking like a hot mess. There's still a little bit of shine there, but I mean, honestly, overall, it is not looking good. Here's the back. Wow. Okay, this is our biggest one, and again, it is just all around the edge, not looking good. There can be a couple of reasons for the cloudiness. It could be something has rubbed off on the Marquise diamond, but as I'm looking at it, I can see that even the faceting looks like it has been worn away. So this is definitely being ground down. Now, could this be from the actual diamonds rubbing around in the barrel on the Marquise diamonds? I mean, it could be, but I don't know. I mean, they're so tiny, but you never know. I couldn't rule it out. Since diamonds are a 10 on the hardness scale and moissanite is 9.25? I think so, on the hardness scale. So technically it could be the diamonds that have ground down these moissanites, but I still find it really interesting that they're also like tan. They're not even clear anymore. Now this is the part that I was most looking forward to is, can you even see them down there? Are real diamonds. So let's look at them. Okay, now this is what I was expecting. Look at that. These things have not changed one bit. Okay, here is our largest diamond. That looks crazy. I can see kind of small, maybe surface scratches, which could be the other diamonds kind of bumping into each other, maybe? I'm not sure. But overall, I mean, this guy is looking pretty good. Oh, there might be a tiny little, see that right there? Tiny little chip. Oh, right there, right there. Okay, and here is the back. I definitely think it does have a bit more surface abrasion, but again, barely anything, just small little chips and cracks maybe. And here is our teeniest, tiniest diamonds. Again, teeny nicks, but honestly, these look pretty good. Wow, that's wild. And the backs, I can definitely see a bit more scratching on the back of this one for sure. Okay, well, let's get all of our diamonds and moissanites and glass back in the tumbler for week 2, and we'll see. Maybe there'll be some changes. I feel like we're definitely gonna see changes in the glass, maybe the moissanite. I'm kind of curious to see if we're able to bring back any sort of transparency through the moissanites, or if they're gonna stay cloudy like that. I'm not sure. I also did use some rubbing alcohol to try to rub off any of that tan because I thought maybe it was some of the grit stuck on there, but it did absolutely nothing. So let's put those back in. I'm also curious to see, are the diamonds going to be able to hold up through 3 more weeks of grit? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, it's been another week, so let's take a look at our diamonds. All right, here is how we're looking, that big glass one. I think I forgot to show this one last time, but here's the Herkimer diamond. You can kind of see more of those inclusions in there. And these teeny tiny diamonds. So I'm trying to be really careful with them because I do not want to lose them, but I did find all 5. It took a while, but I did. And here is our moissanite, which honestly, I'm not really sure how these are gonna turn out. Like you can kind of see that they've taken on the color of the grit. So we'll see how that goes. But here's our bigger diamond, which honestly is looking stunning as ever. Like I do not see any sort of fractures, anything on here. That is so crazy. Okay, let's get them back on for another week. All right, we're back, and it's time to check on our diamonds. Okay, here they are. Oh, I'm so scared I'm gonna lose one of these tiny ones. Here is the big glass one. You can see what it looks like when it's dry, and then when it's wet. So still very, very smooth. I don't see any of like the faceting left on it at all. Here's our Hemker diamond. Yeah, I said it right this time. So anyways, looking all right, not too bad. I mean, still got some big cracks and things in it, but it's doing all right. And our moissanite, I just think it is so interesting. It's assumed this like champagne-y, goldenish hue to it, and like you cannot see anything through it at all anymore. And then the other little guys, again, it is so crazy. Like, look at that teeny tiny diamond, not a hair different than how it looked at the beginning. Like every little facet is on here. That is so wild. And same with these like little super duper tiny ones. That is just so crazy. I mean, with them not changing like at all, it's kind of what I expected, right? Because they're the highest on the Mohs hardness scale. But just like actually doing the experiment and seeing it with my own eyes, I just thought, I don't know, that at least one of them like would chip off or something, but they are literally the exact same. So we only have one step left, which is the polish. So let's get our diamonds into the polish and then we'll see what they look like in the very end. Okay, our diamonds should be done. I'm so excited to see what they look like. I'm most curious, I think, about the moissanite. I still feel like the diamond isn't gonna have much of a change, but I think it'll be interesting to see it underneath the microscope to see if there's any teeny tiny fractures that the grit could have caused throughout these cycles. All right, well, let's take a look and see if we can find the diamonds first, because that honestly is always one of the bigger struggles for me, is finding them. Side note, that is some crazy barrel wear off. Those diamonds are hard. I've never seen actual chunks being worn off before. Wow. Okay, well there, can you see it? Ooh, there's one. Okay, I searched and I cannot find that last super, super tiny diamond anywhere. I think I'm gonna give up and I'll show you the ones that I did find. At least it was just one of the tiny ones that I lost, but I don't know. It's really hard because they're so small and they like stick to the other rocks. I don't know, but let's take a look at the ones I have. Okay, so here they are. And look at this. Ooh, let's see if I can dump them out slowly. You know what? Ooh, I'm just gonna go for it. Get out there. There we go. One thing that I found super interesting is look at this. And then look at these 3 moissanite. Like they were just eaten alive. You can see how kind of torn up they are from our tumbler. And for a reference, this is a moissanite. So that's what it kind of started like. And that's where we're at. Oh, that's crazy. Kind of sad, not gonna lie. I am impressed that it held its shape pretty well, actually. You can still see some of the faceting on there. And then these little diamonds. Here's our biggest one. That thing doesn't look, ooh, other than all of the barrel residue on the outside, it doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna clean that off and then let's take a look at some of these under the microscope. Okay, so here is the kind of bigger, I'll say, of the diamonds. And you can see, ooh, I kind of missed a little spot there, right there with the tumbler barrel piece. But honestly, overall, this doesn't look awful. Let's look at the other side, kind of what the edge beveling is. Oh, I missed some over here too. It's crazy how much you can see when you zoom it in. And here it is completely upside down. Oh, I really don't think I see scratching. Like I think all of that, I don't know, kind of texture we'll call it, is inside the diamond. Because when I'm doing this flash, I don't see much for like damage on the outside. Wow. Okay, let's look at one of the smaller ones. Okay, here's one of the smaller ones. Again, has a little bit of that barrel on it, but not much damage. Let's look at the other side. Yeah, that looks a little bit of chipping. Can't tell. That's crazy. Now, knowing the level of hardness of a diamond, I guess it does and doesn't surprise me that there's really not much damage. I just thought maybe there would be something weak in the diamond where it would just crack it in half or chip more of it off. But that is crazy, like how intact it stayed. Okay, and last up, our poor little glass diamond is a wreck. Look at that thing. That is terribly damaged. And our little Herkimer diamond too. Like it's still got a little bit of that flash down there where nothing could really kind of get in and scratch it around, but this does not look shiny and tumbled. Now when it comes to all of these, some of them are still a little bit wet. Now I used these rocks because I wasn't quite sure what those diamonds were going to do to some of my more high quality rocks. Because as you can see, yes, these kind of have like a satiny finish, but nowhere near something like this where it is just shiny. Isn't that beautiful, by the way? So I'm glad that I used these kind of rocks. Like, look at how bad that one was damaged, just probably from hitting those diamonds over and over. That is wild. So this experiment also did show why it is important to not mix hardnesses when you're tumbling. Because our diamonds are so hard, they were going around and hitting all of the other rocks and stones that were tumbling and really damaging them throughout the process. So even though we went all the way through the polish stage, these rocks don't really look polished because of that hardness difference. Overall, I think that was a really fun experiment. Now, if you made it this far into the video and you want to get your hands on these diamonds, the Herkimer, the glass, the actual diamonds, and the moissanite, I'm going to be doing a massive giveaway over on my Patreon. Every single one of these stones and all of the diamonds that I tumbled are going to be given away to you. So if you want a chance to win, head on over to my Patreon, join any tier level, and our next monthly giveaway, I'll be giving all these diamonds away to you. Overall, I think this experiment was really interesting. I'm not sure what I expected, kind of what happened, I suppose, but hey, somebody had to do it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Hey, and if you're still here, you should really check out this video here. It's a good one. I know you're gonna like it. It's right there. Okay, click on it for real. Okay, thanks. Bye.